Good morning, students. The last class we have discussed about the nationalism in India. In this video, we are going to discuss about First World War, Khilafat movement, and non-cooperation movement. The beginning of the First World War, all joined enthusiastically for quick victory, for gaining quick victory. Of course, there was quick victory for Germany. Beginning there was quick victory. But 1917, USA entered in the First World War. When USA entered in the First World War, Allies' power got strengthened. Finally, Germany defeated, and First World War came to an end by the Treaty of Versailles. Then Weimar Republic. Treaty of Versailles made Germany economically, psychologically, physically came down, even politically. Because of Treaty of Versailles, Germany lost its overseas colonies, 1/10 of its population, iron resources, gold resources, coal resources, etc. Germany had to pay 6 billion pound to the Allies' power as war guilt. So people were not happy with the Weimar Republic. Now the Weimar Republic, the deputies or the representatives were elected by the people through the election process. But people were not happy with the Weimar Republic. Why? Because people were not satisfied with the elected government. So these things we already discussed in 9th standard. Now we discuss about First World War and Khilafat movement in India. After 1999, the national movements were organized in different places of India, different areas of India. New social groups, they carried the movement in India. The new modes of struggle which were carried by the nationalists in India in order to unite all the princely states into one nation state. The First World War created a new economic and political situations. When we have discussed about Germany, because of the First World War, Germany lost many things, its resources. People were lost their confidence on the Weimar Republic or the elected constitution. 1913 to 1918, hardship for the people in India because the British government increased the taxes, income taxes, the price of goods increased, and villages were forced to supply the soldiers, forced recruitment. According to this, the villages they had to send their children, especially the youth, to the army. So these situations made the people anger. 1918, 19 and 1920-21, the crops failed. The agricultural production was very less. Food shortage was there. In 1921, approximately 10 to 13 million people perished by famine. A bad situation. So people they wanted to get free from this situation. The next topic which we are going to discuss about the idea of Satyagraha. Who brought this idea? The idea of Satyagraha brought by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, he went to South Africa for higher studies. There also he fought against racist regime. In South Africa, there was racial discrimination, apartheid system. You might have studied in the previous class in 9th standard. Apartheid means racial segregation between the black people and the white people. This apartheid system imposed by the white minorities, the black people and as well as the colored people. They couldn't work where the white people worked. They couldn't worship where the white people worshipped. They couldn't live where the white people lived. So this kind of discrimination and all the things were separated for the white people and the black people. Buses, taxis, hospitals, schools, cinema halls, even the public toilets were separated for black people and white people. So Gandhiji, he fought against this racist regime through Satyagraha. What is Satyagraha? It is power of truth. Gandhiji believes if the cause was true, there is no need of physical force. It is not necessary. The physical force is not necessary to win the situation. He believed the non-violence could unite Indians. So he started to organize the Satyagraha movement in various places. First, he organized the Satyagraha movement in 1916. In 1916, Gandhiji traveled to Champaran in Bihar to help the farmers. During this time, there was oppressive plantation. The farmers were forced to grow the commercial crops. So Gandhiji organized Satyagraha movement for these farmers. And 1917, he went to Keda in Gujarat to help farmers. During this time, there was crop failures. So they were unable to pay the revenue to the government. In order to help, Gandhiji organized Satyagraha movement in Gujarat. 1918, he went to Ahmedabad to help the cotton mill workers. So like this, Gandhiji organized Satyagraha movements in different places for the different problems. 1916, he organized the Satyagraha movement in Bihar. 1917, Gandhiji organized the Satyagraha movement in Gujarat. And 1918, Gandhiji organized Satyagraha movement in Ahmedabad. Next topic which we are going to discuss about the Rowlatt Act. See, we discussed 1916 he organized Satyagraha movement in Bihar, 1917 in Gujarat and 1918 in Ahmedabad. Now 1919, the national wide Satyagraha against Rowlatt Act. The national level, Gandhiji organized Satyagraha movement against the Rowlatt Act. The Rowlatt Act, which was passed through Imperial Legislative Council, see, according to this act, the Indians were not allowed to oppose political actions. They were unable to involve in the political actions. So Gandhiji decided to disobey the order, disobedience against this law. 6th April 1919, they decided to disobey the law. So he organized rallies, strikes, dharnas, protest marches, the strike in railways, strike in workshops, shops were closed down. So the British government, they decided to control the nationalist. They control the people. On 10th April, the police fired in Amritsar, attacked banks, post office, railway stations, etc. So now there was clash between the police and the people, one who involved in the movements. So this was the reason for the Jallianwala Bagh. In order to control the people, the government established a martial law. The martial law was imposed. General Dyer to command. So on 13th April, Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. The large crowd gathered in the enclosed Jallianwala Bagh. We know, to control the people, to control the situation, the government imposed a martial law. According to this law, the people were not able to, or people were not allowed to crowd, allowed to gather. But there was large crowd gathered in the enclosed Jallianwala Bagh, and General Dyer, he came to know the people crowded in Jallianwala Bagh. So without any information, the General Dyer, he came and he blocked the exit. There was only one exit for entering and coming back. And he entered. When he entered, he blocked the exit and started firing. More than 1,000 people killed and many people were wounded. Why the people crowded in the Jallianwala Bagh? There were many people they crowded. Many people who came to protest the government rule, as well as many people who came for celebrating the fair. There was annual Baisakhi. It was a religious festival of Sikh people. So to celebrate as well as to protest the government rule, many people crowded in the Jallianwala Bagh. So without any information, without any legal action, General Dyer entered the Jallianwala Bagh and blocked the exit, started firing. Many people wounded and more than 100,000 people were killed. Next we will discuss in the next class.